So you guys obviously heard of supercars, you've heard of hypercars, but what I've got behind me is the Koenigsegg Jeskos. I'm the Bill Namo, and I'm going to be showing you this car today. So this is one of the epic moments at Topaz where we're like, wow, what have we got here? And this Jeskos is exactly that. But before I start showing you what's going on with this car and all the details, let's go over to our Hatfield site, because I haven't shown you that to you for a while. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Let's go there, we'll come back here, I'll show you what's going on. So it's been a while since I haven't shown you our Hatfield site, where I am right now today, and I thought I'm going to show you what's going on, and I'll show you around. And this is starting off here. It's quite an impressive duo here. You've got a 993 Carrera RS, super rare, very valuable. Actually in orange, it looks fantastic. We're doing a level 3 on this car and full car cover. This belongs to one of our good customers, and it's been looking for one for ages, and it looks fantastic. The condition is phenomenal. This is a brand new 812 Competizione Aperta. Again, you don't get to see many of these. I've seen quite a few now come through our doors. You can tell from the back how that looks totally different in comparison to the coupe. Again, going for a level 2 detail and a full car cover. Let's go downstairs and see what else we have downstairs. I think there's some more goodies. Let's go. So we're downstairs now. Let me show you what is going on around here. Straight away, you get to see identical 296s. Actually, these are basically friends that bought the car together. Two separate cars, exactly the same spec. They look fantastic. I think one of the best modern Ferraris ever made for driving. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Again, Urus, you'll never not see an Urus in the Topaz site. This is going actually for full front and sills, and I believe a level 2 detail. The 296s, the two 296s are full car cover and level 2 detail, ceramics and things like that. We have a phenomenal Carrera GT. Again, these are the kind of cars that are now going to be modern classics. The more you see these before you used to see them on the market, now you're not really seeing them that much, because I think a lot of the collectors are actually realizing this is going to be one to hold on to the future. This car actually belongs to the same customer as the 993 upstairs that I showed you. We're also doing full car cover, level 3 detail, windscreen protection, ceramic coating. We're literally going the full 9 yards with this car and the 993 upstairs, because they're both collector items, and we want to make sure that we protect them for now and to the next 10 years of their life. Now, what else we got here? Again, we've got obviously, you're going to see a lot of these cars now coming through, and this is a Puro Sangue. Again, you guys know that I'm a fan of the look of this car. This has actually got the carbon fiber on all the way around. So the front is carbon fiber, the front section, the side sills, the mirror caps. Again, if you haven't noticed already there, we do have a carbon fiber PPF. So in case your Puro Sangue or any other car, as a matter of fact, that doesn't come with carbon fiber, we are able to apply carbon fiber PPF. That makes a massive difference to the car. There's actually a time where I did my, when I fooled Shmi 150 when I brought my Urus here. It was actually outside here, and I showed him what all the different sections on my Urus, and sections of it had the carbon fiber and some of it didn't, and I was trying to get him to guess which is the PPF and which is the real carbon, and it was quite tricky. He didn't get to get all of it, so it's a testament of how good it is. Anyways, it's just a little quick tour of the Topaz site here in Hatfield. Let's continue with the video. Right, where do I start with this car? I think the first thing to talk about is, honestly speaking, for me, this is one of my most modern hypercar fantasies ever. And the reason why is because I believe that Koenigsegg have done a fantastic job in dealing with something aesthetical, aesthetic beauty, but also the mechanics and engineering behind it. And this is exactly what this car represents. And this is why I love it so much and why I love the look of it, but I also love what it stands for. There's so many details. Honestly, I'm going to get my phone out in a second and show you and go through all the details you have on this car, but it's incredible. Let's first go through the things that I can tell you from the top of my head, and I don't have to look at the screen for this, is the things that we've done with this car. So obviously this car was given to us by our friends SuperVettura. They basically gave us this car to look after it, make sure that we absolutely get everything protected, because this is obviously a very, very special, unique car. You'll notice the badges are not on yet. That's because we wanted to, they've left them off on purpose so that we can go underneath and then we put the badges right at the end. But basically, what did we do? We did a level 2 new car detail, making sure that the paintwork is phenomenal. You can see here, this is a solid black car. So it looks menacing, but also is going to be the one that, with it being solid black, is going to be the easiest to mark. Even when it comes from factory, there's still going to be some defects, some holograms and things like that that we have to deal with before we apply the paint protection film to get the best possible finish. So that's been done. And then after that, as you saw in the process, and after that we started applying paint protection film. We actually designed every single panel, as we do with all our cars that we get in to see that we haven't seen before. We design every single panel, and to make sure that when we are doing the design process, we're looking at all the different areas and going, right, where will there be a higher impact area where we need to double up, or we need to add the design to be slightly different to make sure that it goes around without if there is any seams, if the seam can't be on a front facing edge, because then obviously the chip will get there. So, a chip will get there and things like that. So there's a lot of detail that's involved when it comes to the design process. And with this kind of car, with a car that looks like this, you can imagine there's a lot of detail. I mean, from here, the back, look at the diffuser. The diffuser is menacing, absolutely incredible the way it looks. But more so, if you look at the curves of the car, and this is what film can't do very well, is curve one way, then go back and curve the other way, then curve the other way in a different direction. It makes it very, very difficult. It's like trying to wrap a tennis ball, or a basketball, should I say. Super difficult. This, in some instances, is like that. Because it has sharp edges, but also has curves. And that's down to the fantastic team at Koenigsegg who've designed this car together. It just looks absolutely fantastic. Let's start going through the details of this car. This is going to be obviously one of 125 cars. It's about $3 million to purchase this car. This was actually revealed in 2019 in the Geneva Motor Show. So it shows how long it takes for a car to be properly done. And from the start of showing the car to when the customers start getting the cars. And this is obviously a customer car. So there's two variants of this, obviously. This one is the track heavy version, which means, as you can see, it's got the spoilers at the back, it's got the splitter at the front. This is a very, very sort of track focused version of the Jesko, where you have another one which doesn't have the spoiler at the back. It's slightly sleeker. Even the vents, I believe, at the front are no longer there. And that's so that you can get higher speed. This car is about 1,400 kilos, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you can tell me about it in the comments below, but it's about 1,400 kilos, so super lightweight. But within 1,400 kilos, look what it has in terms of technology, right? So it's a V8 twin turbo. It's got 1,280 horsepower, 1,000 newton meters of torque. On E85 race fuel, it can go up to 1,600 horsepower and 1,500 newton meters of torque on the rear wheels. You can imagine what happens with this car when you're doing that on race fuel. It's just gonna fly, absolutely fly. Obviously this is a turbo, as I mentioned, a turbocharged engine, but the cool thing about this, what they've done in the engineering department, is they've got a 20-litre tank, carbon fiber tank, that's filled with air, or I think it's air, it's pressurized to keep the turbos going, so there isn't a turbo lag. So with this car, when you're putting your foot down, there is no turbo lag that usually you would get in a turbocharged engine. This doesn't have that problem. The gearbox. The gearbox, I think, is the bit that really is the most unique part of this car, because usually traditionally you have a dual clutch gearbox, 2 clutches, wet clutch. This actually has 8 wet clutches instead of 2, which allows you to change gears in 20th to 30th of a second. So basically, you've got 8 gears that you can go from gear 1 to gear 5 in literally 20th to 30th of a second, and you can go from the 5th gear to the 2nd gear within an instant. You don't have to go down the gears to be able to go through them. So it's not like your traditional gearbox where you have to go from your 5th gear to your 4th, your 3rd, then your 2nd and your 1st. This you can go literally from 5th gear to 2nd gear like that. Incredible. And also what I also have heard is that this revs up, because I think there is no flywheel, so it revs up super fast. So again, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's going to feel like a motorbike. It's like a motorbike engine, but souped up, turbocharged in something that can handle and something that looks like this. Incredible. What else? Let's talk about performance. 0 to 60, 2.6 seconds. Again, rear-wheel drive, so it's gonna have some difficulties coming up, but still 2.6 seconds. So you've got all that performance, something that looks like this, and then don't forget the roof comes off of this, which is mad, absolutely insane. So if you can think about it, you're going to be doing all that performance, going around the track with the roof off. Oh my God, that's going to be mental. Anyway, that's a bit about the detail about the car. So again, very tech heavy in terms of the way it feels, makes you feel. And I think that's just exactly what Koenigsegg stands for. It's that it's just precision, it gets the job done, and it looks epic. Let's go into some of the details in terms of, you know, aesthetically what it looks like. So again, the side sills, you have all these flicks and all these aero ducts everywhere. And these all have a specific reason. As I said, this is the attack. This is the one that is for the track purposes. And you can almost tell, you know, usually when it's a track car, so if you look, for example, like a Senna GTR, it looks super aggressive because that's obviously a track-focused car. This is also a track-focused car, but it can be driven on the road, it can be driven cross-country and things like that. It is aggressive, but it's also elegant at the same time. And that's why you see all the aero is essentially hidden underneath the car and around the parts of the car to be able to then do what it needs to do to get the downforce. Again, obviously this big, huge spoiler. It's a bit of a telltale sign that this thing is made for the track. Let's look at the interior. Again, the way that you open the door, you come to the side, there's a little button here, you press the button, and that opens up. As you can see, how epic is that? I mean, how epic is that? Opens up fully, and that's what I love about it. It actually allows you to get in the car quite easily, because with the doors like this, it just becomes nice and easy. You just got to make sure that you haven't got, if you're not next to a sort of high curb or anything when you do that, because it will touch. Now, looking at the interior, what can I tell you about this? Honestly, it's a real amazing place to be in. You've got a nice sort of glass opening at the top as well here, because again, for people like me who are claustrophobic, it brings in natural light, and that's something that obviously Koenigsegg have been doing for a while, having the natural, the glass roof from the top. That brings in natural light into the cabin, which helps. You've got the new thing where you've got loads of LED sort of lights that are going through that gives the character of the interior, like the one here down the center, the spine of where we're sitting between the driver and the passenger. And then you've also got the plaque of it, obviously, that says it's one of 125. It's just a very nice place to be in. Phenomenal place. You've got obviously the gear selector there for reverse, neutral and drive to access the phenomenal gearbox that has been created for this car. And then from our perspective, what we've done here is there's a lot of carbon, as you can notice, and there's a big area of carbon right here. So when you're going into the car, you want to be able to lift up your feet, and if you have got some passengers, make sure they're not leaving their foot all over this and scratching it. But if they do, it's okay. You don't have to feel embarrassed, and you have to tell off the person that you're bringing into your Jesko. We've actually put paint protection film on here, and actually on all these areas here with carbon fiber, we've also protected with paint protection film, just in case you don't want to have one of those awkward conversations. Anyway, this is a phenomenal interior. I love the air vent. Looks very sort of old school, classic vibes, doesn't it? Love it, absolutely love it. So, I hope you've enjoyed that. There's a lot of cool things on this car. I think I've always loved having a Koenigsegg in our units, in our workshops. We've seen quite a few of them across the world. in our different sites. And I'm very happy that our friends at SuperVettura gave us this to protect. And I'm very, very happy to have it here. So there's also one more cool thing that I always do every time there is a Koenigsegg video, and it's this behind me. Make sure if you do like it, subscribe, because it makes a difference to our channel. Give us a thumbs up, but enjoy this show.